Hello, it's me again. As we continue our journey through the pyramids, I didn't feel good about completing this or doing this without paying a call out to another one of Timur's fantastic creations, this volcano this volcano pyramid, rather. It's a very interesting puzzle. It's unique. It's a pyramidal puzzle, so it's something that I felt a little remiss if I didn't at least give a little bit of an explanation of or possible tutorial. I know there's others that are out there, but I just felt like I wasn't paying proper homage. What's interesting about this, as you all know, is it moves like a pyraminx with all the accolades therein, but it also has this kind of cross cube functionality as well. So it's almost like we have a couple other layers that we have to deal with to solve. So I'm just going to kind of go through a quick evaluation of the strategies that I use with this. Not too very complicated, but certainly worth a little bit of a holler out, and maybe I can help clarify any issues, especially potential parity issues that may happen at the end. Scrambling this is kind of a challenge too. You can start off with here, and then you can start moving across here. You can move these guys here too, and you want to make sure to get a really good scramble, everything gets affected. So I'm just going to take it the rest of the way. Hocus kazam. And there you go. Have ourselves what I hope to be a pretty challenging scramble. So to solve this, to put this in, the first thing that I do, as with all pyramid puzzles, is try to put these guys in place. So I'm going to start off with the green one. But we can't just put them in place willy-nilly. We actually have to make sure that they're coordinated with these inner colors here. So here's a green and here's two yellows, so I want to make it to where both of these line up here. So I'm just going to turn this like so, turn this here. So far so good. Puts the yellows, puts the green. Find the other green. Hopefully it'll be equally easy. So this needs to come in here, turn this here, turn it in, and you can see these are lined up also. So let's do the green and yellow. So let's put in some yellows over here. Well, here's a yellow and green, so this will find a nice home over here. I don't want to move this out, so I'm going to move this in here. Turn, turn. So far so good. Here's the other yellow. This happens to be lined up with the two blues. So kind of lucked out with that. To move this in, this needs to come over here. So I'm just going to turn this like so. Turn it in, and then turn it back. So far, no problem. And it really is as simple as that. Now we need our blues. We've got two blues here, and it just so happens one is in, but one is not. So let's find a blue that has the other yellow. And it's probably right over here. So what I'm tempted to do, of course, is move this like here, move this like so here, and then move it in. But I'm going to destroy my green. So how am I going to do it? How am I going to put that in without causing any trouble? Well, best way to do it is to probably move this in here and then coordinate it to where moving it back will move this into position. So to do that, I'm going to move this out of the way here. Similar strategies that we've seen with cubes. Move this in. Then I'm going to move this into position and move it out. All right, so this is in, and then turn this over here. So we got these where they need to be, and this wasn't affected. Now I need to move this blue over here. Same kind of thing, same kind of concept. Just move this in, making sure that this orange and yellow are coordinated. Turn this, move it back. So everything should be all happy and where they need to be. So I've got blue surrounded by little blues, yellow, or orange rather, surrounded by little oranges, green surrounded by little greens, and yellow surrounded by little yellows. So that's pretty good. Now, the next step is to put, what I'd like to do is put these edges in place. But I can't just roll them into place, they have to coordinate with each other as well. So this takes a little bit of doing, but it's really not that difficult. What I want to do is, I'm going to be rolling this to where it meets one that's its inverse, its complement, and then roll it out. So let's see, sometimes we have one that are already ready-made. If not, Here's blue and green. Let's find the other blue and green, which is right here. So I'm just going to put this up here so that I can roll this in, being sure that this blue and green ends up on the bottom, which means I'm going to go, it'll work just fine here. Turn, 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 turn this back. So blue and green, match it up to this blue and green, move it out. Once you get this in, take this out of commission, and then move this back. And I'm just going to follow suit. This is over here. This happens to have lined itself up. So did this. Gee, how lucky was that? And that happens a lot. So didn't plan it. So anyway, I want to move this in with this guy over here. So let's move this out since it's already solved. Move it up. Okay, do I have another one that needs solving? Yeah, this one over here. So I might as well move this out as well. So I actually have 3 that need solving. So maybe I can coordinate these guys together. I move this over here. Whoop. Oh, I see. Okay. So this blue and yellow, I can move into here and solve that. These guys are still out, and these guys are still out. Now I'm going to run into trouble because, okay, I move this in, I move this out. What am I going to substitute it with? Can't substitute it with anything because I'm going to destroy those. So what I need to do is I need to organize it, set it up to where moving it out, I'll coordinate these around so that turning it back will move it in. So how am I going to do that? Well, maybe I turn it this way. Yeah, so I can turn it that way. So I'm going to turn it this way and then move these guys around to where turning it back is going to place these edges. So in this case, blue and orange, the other blue and orange is right over here. So I'm actually literally going to, take this and move it over here. So boom, 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 and then move it over here. Blue and orange is here, so I want to move the other one to the bottom. First time. Turn, turn, turn. And just move that back. All right, so far so good. Turning this in this direction will indeed put this in place. But what about this? This orange and this yellow and orange? Well, the yellow and orange I bumped over here, so I'm going to put this back in place, take this one out. I just have to be sure that the yellow and orange is down over here. So that means moving it here. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so this will move in, which means this is automatically going to be matched up. Turn it, and all these are fine. So I've now placed all of the edges, and they're all where they need to be. Here's a situation that you might run into that's worth mentioning. That's where you have 2 that are out of place. This set here and this set over here. This is green, this is blue, and this is in place. So you're tempted to say, okay, let's just turn it in a direction where it's out of place and then turn it back in. So you turn it here, but this is in place. Oh, so we can't do that. This is out, but this is in place. Well, let's turn it the other way. You do that, but now this is in place. So what are we going to do about that? Well, what I would recommend in that case is you make it to where one of the complements are on the same level. So that way when you turn it, you can't put it back in. So if I turn it this way, to prevent this from happening, I'm just going to flip this upside down so that this is on the same level. So turn, 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 and then flip it so that it's upside down. So you can see these 2 are on the same level, which allows me to turn this out, and I don't have any one of them that's solved. So this is out. Then what I'm going to do is just turn it back upside down. So these 2 should be flipped upside. These 2 should be complementary. So now I'm going to flip this upside down. So turn, 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 turn. So on doing that, all of these are out. Turn it back in, and now I've put them all back in. So that's one trick that you can do. Okay, once I've done that, the next step would be, in true pyramidal style, place these and then finish up with this. That's what I've been doing in the previous ones. I'm actually going to do it a little bit different this time, and there's a reason for that. I'm going to want to be able to keep my perspective, because I may run into a very bizarre situation that I've not run into in any of the other pyramid puzzles before. So to place these, it's fairly easy. First off, we'll start off with this orange. I'm going to find the solid orange. There's one up here. Is that the one that I want? Well, it's got to be surrounded by a blue and surrounded by a green. This one is not. This one is orange, blue, and green. So what I'm going to want to do is move this into here. So move this up, turn it to exchange it, move it down, bring it back. So this is where it needs to be. Now let's focus on this one. How about the green that's surrounded by an orange and a blue? Here's a green, not surrounded by an orange and a blue. This one is a green, blue, and yellow. Can't use that one. Must be, gotta be here. So green, blue, and orange. So let's move this into here. We need to move it into this position here. So move this like so. Turn this up so that this is where it needs to be. Turn it and move it down. Next, we'll do the solid blue surrounded by a green and an orange. Here's a blue surrounded by a green and an orange. Move this into position. Now I can't move this up because there's nothing to exchange it with, so I'm going to have to move this across. Move this part down, turn it, move it up. So this side is now in place. So let's just pick another one. Here's a blue, but I need the blue to be surrounded by a green and a yellow. Could I find that? It's got to be here, right over here. So let's move this into place. And I'll just move it here. So turn it like so. Now this is actually happens to be in place. So I don't want to exchange it with this. I'm going to turn this twice and move it down and move it in. So as you can see, this green just happened to be in place with this blue. Might as well work on this next. Yellow surrounded by a green and a blue. Right over here. So I've got to move this down. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so this is all in place. Now we just have two more to go. Anyone that's already in? Yeah, this appears to be already in here. So I need the yellow surrounded by a blue and an orange. Oh, looks like it's already here. Just in the wrong place. So I'm going to want to move it down. Boom, boom, boom. And then move it in the right place. So I'm going to want to move this down to greet it. So turn, turn, turn. Okay, so this is in place, and this is in place. So we've got all of our top edges here. So now what we're going to do is, now that we've put this in, let's just solve this pyramid style. And it might be that that's all we need to do. So green and orange, yellow rather, put this in here, turn, turn, turn. Looking good. Another green here, green and blue. Turn, turn, turn. Not too shabby. And here, turn, turn, turn. All right. Now we just have to work on these guys here. Try to put this one in, move this over here, turn, turn, turn. Probably not too far from the solution. And now we just have two more to put in. So we'll just keep going with that. Actually, three more. So this will go here. So I'll put this here, 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 and that should have solved it. That should have done it, but it didn't. The The reason why it didn't is because you've run into this situation. This is a parity situation. This is something that the pyraminx will not get you out of. Trust me, I've tried, it doesn't work. This is now ultimately just keep going around until you end up with a situation like this, where these two need to switch. So how are we going to do this? Well, we have to enlist the use of an algorithm that gets us out of this parity situation. Unfortunately, it's kind of a bear, and it's kind of long. So this is the point at which I start to enlist another type of strategy so that you don't have to memorize long algorithms. And this is where we want to use the right side of the brain. Left side, of course, looking at digits and numbers and letters and things like that. Whereas the right side is going to be more creative, kind of thinking outside of the box. We encountered something similar to this when we did the square one tutorial to kind of get through that horrible parity algorithm just by doing pattern recognition and shape recognition. This one is going to be story recognition. And what this algorithm is going to do is it's going to cycle these two around and basically solve it. And the process of that, the way to remember this, the way to keep this in mind is basically what I'm going to be doing is this thing is going to turn all the way around. By the time this is turned all the way around, the whole thing will be solved. So just bear in mind that that's what's going to happen. Picture it like this is a machine, and every time you turn it, before making the next turn, you have to rev the engine. And there's going to be some issues as you're turning it around. The algorithm that revs the engine is pretty simple. This is R and this is U. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing an R, UI, RI, U. So it's real easy. You just start off with a forward motion and end with a forward motion with two backwards motions in between. So R, U, R, U. But it's going to be R, UI, RI, U. So here's the story that you're going to go through. You want to go all the way around, so you start off, you have enough energy to do that, so you make one turn, one F turn, so to speak. What you got to do is rev your engine to make another turn. So that's going to be R, UI, RI, U. Doing pretty good. Make another turn. Rev your engine again. R, UI, RI, U. But you get a little nervous. You made two turns. It seemed to be good enough for now, so you're getting a little nervous, so you take it back. You take it back once. Rev your engine again. R, UI, RI, U. Now you're ready to move forward, so do it. Move forward. Rev that engine again. R, UI, RI, U, but you're still scared. So for the second time and the last time, you go back. Now, you don't want to go back anymore. You're gathering yourself up for the battle. You want to make the rest of the turn. And you don't plan on going back ever again. So you're going to rev your engine, but 3 times. 3 times. So rev it 3 times. R, UI, RI, U. That's 1. R, UI, RI, U. That's 2. R, UI, RI, U. That's 3. So do it. Make your turn. You do it once. You got to rev it again to make it the last time. R, UI, RI, U, and you're there, turn it, and you're done. So that's the way that I do it, so that I don't have to memorize a lot. You just turn it around, revving the engine, having a little bit of trepidation at first, and there is your Volcano cube.